Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to dive into something that's super critical, but honestly doesn't get talked about enough. We're looking at the intense connection between academic pressure and student health. It's this kind of hidden crisis that's playing out in libraries and dorm rooms, especially during those late-night study sessions. So let's just get right to the heart of it. It's the big question, isn't it? Why does chasing those A's so often lead to complete and utter burnout? It's this really frustrating cycle, right? The harder you work for that success, the more exhausted and anxious you feel. It's a trap that so many students just can't seem to escape.
And this leads us to something we can call the academic paradox. It's this bizarre situation where trying to grow intellectually, well, it actually starts to destroy the physical foundation you need to do it. We sacrifice sleep, we skip meals, we stop moving, all in the name of studying. And the irony is, it actually makes it harder for our brains to perform at their best.
So, how in the world did we get here? To really get it, let's imagine the whole student experience is like a pressure cooker. Right now, we're going to open it up and unpack all the different things that are cranking up the heat and building all that pressure. Okay, the first source of pressure, it comes directly from the system itself. I mean, think about it. You've got these super rigid school schedules, a constant flood of homework, and assessment systems that just never let up. It leaves almost no room to breathe. And on top of it all, there's this culture that sends one really loud message. Your grades are what define your worth. Period. Then you've got all the pressure coming from the outside. The expectations from family and society can be huge, right? There's this massive focus on marks, on rankings. And that just creates this environment where we're constantly comparing ourselves to our peers. Plus, there's often this kind of mistaken idea that things like sports are just, distractions from what really matters for your future career.
And our modern lifestyle just adds another layer to this. We're so dependent on digital tools for learning, which means way more screen time and way less time actually getting outside. For a lot of us, that clear line between study time and my time has just completely blurred, leaving us without a balanced daily routine.
And maybe the most powerful pressure of all is the stuff that comes from inside our own heads. That feeling of guilt you get when you even think about taking a break. That constant nagging fear of failure. That drive for perfectionism and the anxiety of trying to stay at the top. Man, those internal pressures can be the most relentless drivers of overwork.
So with all this pressure building and building, our bodies and our minds, they start to send out warning signals. So in this next section, let's talk about the symptoms of burnout. It is so important that we learn to recognize them before they really start to take a serious toll. Now here's what's so wild about this whole thing. On the one hand, the goal is peak performance, right? Mental clarity, creativity, all that good stuff. But the reality of academic overload is the exact opposite. Your thinking gets slower, you feel more anxious, and your memory and motivation just totally plummet. So what are the specific red flags we should be looking for? Well, things like being tired all the time, feeling stiff, or your sleep schedule being a total mess. You might notice your attention span is shrinking, or you just feel more irritable and emotionally drained. If you find yourself reaching for another coffee just to focus, or you start skipping out on seeing friends, those are classic signs that the balance is way off.
And look, the science completely backs this up. There's a fantastic finding from Harvard Medical School that really explains why balance is so critical. It's not just about exercise for your body. Physical activity literally boosts your brain. Better blood flow means a better memory and sharper thinking, the very tools you need to succeed in school.
Okay, so we've laid out the problem, we've unpacked the causes, and we've spotted the symptoms. Now for the most important part, the solutions. We're going to build a toolkit you can use to reclaim your balance and find a way to succeed that you can actually sustain. And the key thing to get here is that this isn't about working less, it's about working smarter. The path to long-term success isn't some sprint that leaves you exhausted. No, it's about building a strong, healthy foundation that can actually support your ambitions for years to come. So for all the students out there, here's a simple little strategy to remember, the 3R rule. First, rest. This is non-negotiable. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Second, recreation. You got to get at least 30 minutes of physical activity every single day. And third, combine revision with movement. Try active studying, like walking around while you review your notes. It actually works.
But what does that actually look like in a real day? Well, a balanced planner might look something like this. Notice how it's not just about scheduling study time, but deliberately carving out time for movement, like a walk in the morning or some sports in the afternoon. And that's not wasted time, it's strategic time. That physical release actually makes your study sessions way more productive, and it sets you up for proper rest at the end of the day.
But of course, students can't do this all on their own. Schools and educators have a huge part to play. They can make PE a valued, required part of the day, offer counseling on health and wellness, and, this is a big one, start rewarding students for balanced achievement, not just for having the highest test score. It's all about redefining what excellence really looks like.
And parents, you are such a key part of the solution here. You can help by promoting the vision of success that's about more than just grades. Simple things, like making time for family walks or games, resisting that temptation to overschedule every single minute of your kid's day, and just keeping an eye out for those early signs of burnout. It can make a world of difference.
And that really brings us to the most important mindset shift of all. We have to stop thinking of academic achievement and physical health as competing goals. They're not enemies fighting over your time. They are two pillars that work together to support a life of success, well-being, and real, genuine learning.
And that brings us to our final thought. Look, this is not about making some massive overnight change. It's all about small, consistent steps. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Looking at your own life, your own routine, what's one small change you'll make this week to start building a stronger, healthier foundation for your success? Thanks so much for joining me.